Hey there, are you grieving the potential loss of a loved one or feeling overwhelmed with the loss of someone you care about? If so, you're in the right place. Lisa Hartung here, and this podcast is designed to guide you through topics surrounding death and dying. We'll dive into multifaceted aspects of grief, offering you a blend of personal stories, expert insights, and practical advice for your grief journey. May this be a safe space for you to learn, listen, and ask questions about your own life and loved ones. So grab your favorite beverage and let's dive in. Welcome back to another week of Giving Grief Grace. I hope that you are enjoying these longer days and the sunshine. I am so grateful for you and for coming and listening today. I have just returned from a work trip in Tanzania. I'm home in the USA, and it feels so nice to sleep in your own bed. And I'm so grateful to my husband for caring for our kids while I was away. I'm just so grateful for this community. And so thank you, everyone. I'm thinking of you. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about a takeaway that I had while I was on the second part of my trip. So the first part, I was working, and then the second part was when I had some leisure time and some colleagues and I went on vacation, which I talked about last week in the podcast. So this week, I am thinking about life in today's terms, but also tying it back to my experience with my mom. So while we were transitioning from work to our leisure time, our vacation time, I kept on saying to my colleagues, hey, I'm going to write this email and then vacation will start now. And then the next day I'd be like, I just have this spreadsheet I need to do a couple things on, and then we can fully enjoy the day. And I'm thinking about it. And so that happened for the first half of our trip. So about 4 or 5 days, I every day had something on my to-do list that I had to do for someone else. And thinking like, well, I'm taking vacation for me, but I'm always feeling like I'm having to do something for someone else. And then saying, vacation starts now. And then fully living in vacation starting now and really enjoying that. But there's this challenge that you have when you have this free time that, oh, I need to be doing something with it, instead of just letting go. And upon returning from this trip, a family friend got some really difficult news. And the prognosis, the expected timeline, is not great. It's, weeks to months instead of years. And it immediately made me think about when Mom, she got her diagnosis of stage 4 pancreatic cancer 1 week, and then she got her prognosis of you have a year to live. One thing I kept telling my mom was, you are not your prognosis. Just because they gave you 12 months to live doesn't mean that that's the prescription that you need to live up to. Like, you haven't been a rule follower your whole life. Don't follow the rules now. She ended up following the rules to a T, but that's a different story. The thing is, when you get such a dire prognosis, it can be life-shattering. And all of a sudden, your life is turned upside down if you're the one who receives this prognosis, and your caregivers, your family, and those around you are also then contemplating what really matters in life and what are we doing? And it really puts life into perspective of, do you feel like you're living today in the best way possible? Do you feel like in 20 years, if you were thinking about what you did in life, would what you're doing today be worthwhile? And would you be grateful for that? Or is there something that you want to change? And I think this also happens when someone loses a loved one in the aftermath of their passing. You're then thinking about, how do I redefine my life? How do I look at what really matters? And how do I do more of what lights me up and do less of what is a time suck?
Maybe you're like me, you have a running to-do list. It is way too hard to do all of the things. But is there one thing that we can put on the to-do list today that really matters and then we can fully enjoy? It's all about prioritization. Presence is a decision, it's not a destination. So that's something that's a hard pill to swallow. Presence is a decision, not a destination. We think about, okay, I want to be present today. I want to be present for my loved one. I want to be present for myself. So, what are the trade-offs? Some things that I've learned. It's really important to get clear on what matters. Who do you want to spend time with? And it's okay to say no to engagements or lunches, or if you're on vacation, it's okay to say no to going out with everyone else for drinks because maybe you just want to sit quietly and watch the sunset by yourself. Or what's going to fill your cup up? Is that journaling for 5 minutes? Or is that having a walk on the beach with someone or a walk around the neighborhood? Maybe you're in a hospice facility and really what's going to light your cup up is seeing a little kid doing a puzzle with someone. So getting clear on what really matters. And then for my endless to-do listers, prioritize. There's always going to be things. At the end of my mom's life, I'm helping her to unravel. She's on the board of this organization. She's on a panel at this organization, long-term volunteer at this organization. And when you are given a terminal diagnosis, you then have to think, okay, what do I want to prioritize if I'm not going to be here in X number of years or X number of months? And how do I gracefully transition out of the organizations that I've been so passionate about? And that is really, really challenging. Life as you've known it changes forever. And getting used to a new normal is a challenge as well. It's almost like you're letting go of everything that you've built and your identity, then saying, well, what's my new identity? And that's where the joy comes in. You can have joy in doing things, trying to find the littlest piece of joy on each day as you're offloading these other priorities or really important pieces of your life that you've been a part of, but now you're not. Telling the board, hey, I'm going to be stepping down to focus on my health and my family and my well-being. People will understand. It is hard, though. Also, thinking about delegating. So, you may be excellent about the thing that you do, and no one else can do it like you because you're unique. The idea of letting someone else do the thing that you're best at can be a real challenge. And it's letting go, letting someone else delegate the task to someone else who can do it. They may not do it the same as you, but you'll know that the task is still getting done or the thing is still getting done. It may not be up to your standards or what you would have done, but it wasn't an energy suck for you and the thing still got done and you weren't the one that had to be driving the ball forward for it. So that allows brain space for you. And again, this goes for if it's vacation and you're wanting to fully enjoy, or if it's the end of your life and you're wanting to save your energy for the things that bring the most joy to you. It can be really, really heavy. And I'm sorry. It's the end of life is it's so weird. It's something that no one prepares you for. And I'm saying this as a caregiver. I've never experienced it myself, was very intimately involved in my mom's end of life. And I hope that my experience can help others try to be present and, help your loved one through this transition time. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is having the conversations, the tough conversations. When you're thinking about someone's days are numbered, tell them how you feel. Tell them what you've really loved. Share your favorite stories with them. I think that it's always, when doing a life review, it's fun to think about all of the adventures that you've gone on, together or wherever that individual was. And as the caregiver or the person supporting an individual, be curious, ask questions, engage, and really listen. Everyone has such a unique story, and I love to hear them. You love to hear them. And how can we learn more about this loved one who might be at the end of their life? What are they most proud of? How do they want their legacy to be? Having those conversations with my mom was super helpful. I was able to see what organizations she wanted us to donate to in her honor, and some things about how she was hoping that we raise our kids with joy and whimsy. And I've been really focused on that with my children and raising my children. The second one never got to meet my mom, but Miss Maeve did, my eldest, and she definitely has the artistic whimsy that my mom did. But having those conversations are so important. We've talked in other podcasts about writing obituaries, and maybe this conversation is a little too tough right now, but you could get highlights of what are the 10 things that you love? What are the 10 things that you hate? And then that could help you with writing an obituary later on. And also just helpful for us if you wanted to do that yourself and leave that for your loved one. Say, hey, in case anything ever happens to me, you could include this list of things in my obituary. Go back to the Mary McGreevy Tips from Dead People podcast episode to hear more about the list and why it's important for your obituary. It's a great way for people to really get to know you as an individual. But I've just been really thinking about how, whew, I think vacation starts now could also be about someone's, lifelong vacation, and their vacation in heaven starts now. Unraveling from the day-to-day life is hard. Letting go is really hard. And so if you are going through that, again, getting clear on what really matters. How do you want to spend your time, and who do you want to spend the time with? And again, it's okay to say no. I actually had to say no to a lot of things. You might not be well enough to do the engagement, or it's just not the right time or right place. Or maybe the person wasn't that very close to you, and you want to save your energy for someone that you really love to spend time with. So getting clear on what matters is really important. And then prioritizing that to-do list. What actually matters versus what's kind of a busy work, or what can I delegate to someone else to make sure that the task gets done in my absence, whether that be from work or in life. And how can we put things in place for people to continue on the legacy that we want them to lead? And then having conversations with your loved ones. And this is, again, don't wait for the right time. The right time is now to have those conversations. How do you feel? How have they impacted your life? Think of one person that you are so grateful for and give them a text today. Email them, give them a call, and just let them know one thing that really makes you happy, that you're so grateful for them, that they bring to your life. At the end of our lives, it's the relationships and the community that we built that really matters. And so I hope that you go with the thought today of getting clear on what matters, being present. Presence is a decision, not a destination. And so even when we are on vacation, prioritizing what's going to brighten our day. Vacation starts now. So I am thinking of everyone and thinking of you and thinking of those who are working through the end of their life or the end of a loved one's life, and really honoring the time that you still have together and making the moments count. So I'm sending so much love to you and your loved one, and sitting with you today in silence. I'm grieving with you. I'm also enjoying the sunshine and knowing that their legacy will live on. Sending love and hugs. I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Giving Grief Grace. It would be such a gift if you could share this episode with someone and brighten their day. You never know what will happen. Subscribe to get a weekly dose of positivity, and while you're at it, please leave a review. May you be kind to yourself in the week ahead and give yourself grace. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.